Okay, hello and welcome to another episode of Sovereign of the Seas. In the absence of Cthulhu and Bob Lynn, this is the second week that I'm covering um, this event. Um, Half the matches I'm going to try and cover. The other half are being covered by Gremu and Kaboom. If you want a link to Gremu's Twitch stream, that is present both on the SOS server, and I will be putting up a link in the description of this video as well. Meanwhile, let's sit back and try to see what matches we have up for us tonight. Our first one is Angry Turtles versus Serenissima. Okie dokie. What? I don't think this is the right one. So, the guys from FRV and Palasite are having their fun by sending dummy invites. Okay, let's be a little more careful about accepting invites. Alright, after that brief magical pause, let's get underway. We have our first match of the night. It's Angry Turtles with a Yukikazi, a Leipzig, a New Orleans, and a Vitnato. Interesting to see that I think they're breaking the rules here. Um, so So let me just warn them that they are breaking the rules here. A Yukikazi and a Veneto are both tier 8, and we can't really have that. On the Italian side, they're playing with a couple of substitutes, Bannerberger in a Fiji and Takis in a Fusion. Zinez, I hope that's what his name is in an Atlantico, and Ron in a Minnesota. That is an interesting combination. Yes, Banner is restricted by his choice of ships. He's This is his first experience in a tournament, and he's a relatively new player. So let's see how his tourney experience goes. So Windy changed, and now they have a Freddy instead of a Yukikazi. I would think that that's a better choice anyway. Okay, so both teams with a Fusion will head straight into the cap. The cruisers, I think, will take defensive positions along the islands here and here. So after that, what we'll see is the battleships trying to line up across from each other and try to, you know, focus down one ship in particular, probably the DD first. Place your bets. Who is going to be the first ship to die? Banner making his way into the cap, hoping he doesn't get spotted. Both teams have. Ooh, that is a strong hit on the Freddy. I believe that is Gleb in the Freddy who's taken a brutal punishment, and now we certainly will see Torps headed his way. Um, he replies on the Minnesota. The Atlantico helps by getting in the cap, taking the cap, and they're focusing down the Freddy hard. Torps coming his way. I think he will take three, four, maybe five. Just three. So he's in trouble. He has to angle his ship in a way that now his guns are out of commission. But the torps from the windy player were well placed and they forced the Atlantico into a panic situation. He's taken a couple of torps. Meanwhile, Corbin pushing on the left along with the shores. Now that's an interesting move by the shores. He's protected his left side with the island and he's facing bow on. Everybody's focusing down the Atlantico. That's the Russian plan basically. Banner trying to smoke up the Atlantico, too little too late, I believe. These Russian players know how to hit in smoke. They'll just track the shell fire and will keep pummeling the Atlantico till he goes down. And now Banner's in for some trouble. He's going to reverse into those torps. And if he moves forward, he's still in for a world of pain. Meanwhile, Ron with the Minnesota, all he can do is just, slowly hit whatever he can. The island is getting in the way. He can't really put those big guns to the use that he could, facing down the Atlantico or maybe one-shotting the shores. Now the Russians take control of the cap. And once they have control of the cap, they have a one-ship lead. I don't think they will relinquish it anytime soon. Banner still burning, still taking shots from either the Atlantico's secondaries or the shores. I'm unsure of what. Now we see some torps headed Minnesota's way. It's not going to be a lot of damage, but it might trigger a flood. That's what Ron needs to be careful about. Ooh, a double fire on the Minnesota. Will he extinguish? Doesn't matter if he does, because the Atlantico will reset those fires immediately, like he's doing with Bannerberger. Now the Freddy that we saw taking a beating early on, he's moving out. He's moving towards the enemy, and that's what a German battleship is meant to do. Tank damage and keep on going. Everyone's focusing the Minnesota down now. Once he goes down, basically that's it. It's done and dusted for San Marco. Putting up a brave fight. Of course, this isn't their full team. Takis and Banner have been recruited as emergency players. Ooh, we see Banner take down the Freddy. Very nice. A little bit of redemption there, and maybe Banner can now charge in for the Fushun, but his way is stopped by the shores. Not a fight that Banner wants to get into, especially when that shores is being backed up by an Atlantico. Takis left all alone. Maybe he can pull off a miracle, but I believe it's too big a miracle even for a player as experienced as Takis. As I was saying, the Italian team, they had a couple of withdrawals today, and they had to do some emergency recruitment. 617 donated a player, and Takis, who's our substitute as well, jumped in to help them out for the evening. Now Takis running away, disengaging, doing his best to survive the next 30 seconds and deny uh, Windy shutout victory here. He's gone and run into an island, and he's being chased by an enemy Fushun. I don't think that Fushun can take him down in 10 seconds, so he's safe. That was a good match. Corbin picking up MVP with his Atlantico. Um, whether it was because of the cap, whether it was because of the two kills, or the damage, or a combination of everything. Now let's take a magical pause and I'll be back with the next one. Alright, so we're back. We have Chrissy Boy, Lebecution Noob Turtle, and Grossapurter. Now let's just quickly check who this Noob Turtle guy is. That is Strato Striker from the American server. Alright, this is going to be fun. Let's see. Now, FRV have their usual lineup: Kansas, Gator, or a Westeros. Dauntless seems unable to make up his mind. Stanislaus in his Russian cruiser as per usual, and Big Dave playing a Missouri. Out of his Roma, now he's turned to a Missouri. Let's see how he makes that work. Uh, Funnily enough, no Belfast for FRV, and we do see a Belfast on the UKRF team, played by Lebecution. They're running with an Iowa, a Bismarck, a Belfast, and a Calcinier. No DDs. So okay, so the match gets underway, and I believe we'll see Dauntless try to make a run for the cap and turn off somewhere around here, because if he makes it any further, he will get into the crosshairs of both the Galacinier and the Belfast, which can pretty much end his game in a couple of dedicated salvos. Engine accelerator on for him. He's not even going that far. He's kept himself back and takes the cap. I mean, no need to risk his neck if he has hold of the cap. Some, you know, prospective torps out from Dauntless, and Big Dave making his presence known with a salvo and trying to keep hold of the cap. He's losing that, but Chrissy Boy takes a tremendous salvo from the Kansas, loses his turret. Now the question is, will he repair that turret and risk permafires, or will he just play with one turret for about a minute? Lebecution coming out of his smoke and taking a beating. If Big Dave has any sense, he will go for those for Leverkusenman as well. But no, he sticks to his preferred target, which is the Iowa. Leverkusenman back in his smoke. The Bismarck will take a bunch of torpedoes, takes a flood, puts it down, and keeps UKRF keep hold of the cap. KG tactical battle. Dave has lost a solid chunk of health. The entire UKRF team is focusing him down, and he needs to back away from this fight. I'd love to see him play with a concealment mod, which he isn't, and disengage at this point. The Bismarck takes another couple of torpedoes, doesn't cause any damage to him whatsoever. But now he's taken a double fire, and let's see how long that burns him. But I think Dave is going to go down, and UKRF are going to push Dave as much as that's possible. Some torps out there from Dauntless, aimed at Grosser. He's taken a flood. Let's see if he puts it out. Yes, he does. He can't afford to lose any more health either. In their hurry to take down Big Dave, they're about to lose their Bismarck. Now, 3 ships in the cap for FRV, and just 2 in the cap, and those 2 are retreating. Every gun is focused on Grosser. If he takes a single fire, if he takes one solid salvo, he's down, and FRV know this. Let's see if they can punish him and put him out of the game. Yes, they can. Palasite in the Kansas, making his presence known. Let's see. The interesting thing will be, who do they target next? Of course, UKRF still have the points lead because they've held the cap for a pretty long time. They're retaking the cap now. The Iowa just misses those torps. Well done. And Payback, I think, is headed for some trouble. He has no smoke. He has no way of cover except for that little island, and he can get punished a lot. Ooh. All this while, we weren't looking at the HP of the Kansas Palasite, and he's taking a lot of punishment. Dave stepping in to tank some damage, but he doesn't have much HP either. Both the FRV ships are burning. Dave put out a single fire, and that's not a smart move. I'd love to see, yes, Stanislaus literally taking my advice before I gave it, and he's switched to AP. He's hunting the Belfast with everything he has. If the battleships can back him up, they can take out this Belfast quite easily, because you can see Dauntless is also pretty ready. Couple of salvos, and that's Leverkusenman out of the game. The Galicineer now is next on the menu. He's going to take a few torpedoes. Let's see how many he takes and what happens. Oh, Palasite goes down. This game hangs in the balance. UKRF have all the points they need. They just need to disengage. Let's see if FRV can, chase them down and kill them. Otherwise, this game is in the bag for UKRF. Good game management is what I'd say. That little bit of experience from both the Galissonier and Leverkusen helped put UKRF over the top. Excellent play by them. After that adrenaline packed game, let's pause for a little while and I'll be back when we start the next one. Okay, so let's kick off our next one. That is against Sales against FRV. Jeez, we're following too many FRV matches. I don't want that much Big Dave in my life ever. So, Sales led by Austria in a Jarvis and Otopy in a. Sorry, Sales led by Austria in a Fusion and Otopy in a Jarvis. A Roma played by Louis and Philipman in the Iowa. Up against a change of ships. Roma played by Big Dave. Lepanto led by Palisade, Shores, as is traditional of Stanislaus, and Payback. So FRV have a cruiser, and strangely enough, I will call them lords sometimes. Sorry about that, but sails don't. Nice torps. These are area denial torps. If they hit anything, great. If not, it doesn't matter. Torps are for free. Now Austria will charge ahead and will fire torps. Let's see if he gets punished for it though. Uh, the Westers launching some area denial torps of his own. They might catch Otopy just because they're so fast. I think, yeah, Ot is safe. Austria has fired his torpedoes. Let's see if some of them catch the shores. He's being focused hard and he's lost, I'd say, 50% of his life. Let's look at, let's say, Austria and see what he's doing, what he's up to. Um, Austria is smoking up for some reason. He should be aware that Vestris is on his left and he has radar. Launching torps against the Roma. Let's see if they find the mark. Probably won't. Ooh, nice shots by the Lepanto to take down Austria in his smoke, courtesy of Dauntless's radar. Philipman has lost 50% of his HP. He will take, I believe, a couple of torps, and that might be enough to trigger a flood. Oh, beautiful torp evasion, but he still does take two torpedoes, loses a turret, goes back, resets everything, and his guns will be back in online in 20 seconds. The interesting thing is, sales still control the cap. Points are still taking over, but Payback taking a very interesting position. He's gotten behind enemy lines, so to speak, and Louis is in all sorts of trouble here. Oh, some torps headed for the Roma. He's taken a chunk of damage, but I believe these guys can take down Louis, who's perma flooding, and will go down to the next salvo of Palisade. There you go. Now, FRV have taken the cap back. Philipman can't do much on his own against the combined might of a Roma and a charging Lepanto. Lepanto really has nothing to fear. He will pop his smoke and hit the turret breaker shots if he can. He started with the secondaries. Meanwhile, Payback is charging back in to the fight and will engage the Jarvis. The Lepanto will take all those torpedoes from the Jarvis, doesn't care about them. He'll turn in and will switch to SAP rounds. Good ammo management from Palisade, who's used the right ammo every time he's fired his salvos. Clears his guns of the AP, which still do a significant amount of damage on British DDs, and now he will, I think, reload and take the SAP rounds. I don't know if O2P survives long enough for Pala to reload. Oh, the Roma took an exceptional shot and took out the Jarvis from pretty much max range. That was a good match to watch, and we'll be back with the next one after this. Alright, so we're back. Another match of sales, and this time they're up against JW44, Prince Ruprecht, Atlantico, Jarvis, and Farragut up against Jarvis, Fushun, Roma, and Philip Mann in his traditional Iowa. So we see a total absence of cruisers in this match. That'll make it interesting. We'll see the Farragut and the Fushun getting into the cap as quickly as possible, followed by the two Jarvises. So this will be a knife fight, backed up by the secondaries and the auto secondaries of the German team with the Ruprecht and the Atlantico. I don't know if that will be such a fair fight. Of course, fair fights are not part of what we want to do in World of Warships. Now, we see the German team making their way into cap. Their two battleships are taking such positions that they are not detected. I spoke too soon. They have been detected. A line of torpedoes coming from O2P makes the Farragut back up, and the Ruprecht takes a few of these torpedoes, starts a flood. Let's see if he takes one or two more. No, he doesn't. Those were from Austria. Louis, feeling adventurous, taking on the Atlantico in a duel, but what he has neglected is that the Jarvis has launched torps. Let's see if he takes some. And these are torpedoes launched by the Ruprecht. They're slow, but they will eventually get there. They will find their way to Louis, and even if one of them does, starts a permaflood. You see a whole bunch of torpedoes from the Farragut as well. Everything's focused on the Roma. He's taking a battering there, and their strategy of putting a battleship up close has failed spectacularly. Louis in all sorts of trouble, and he goes down to the Ruprecht. Meanwhile, the Ruprecht goes down to the Iowa. The Germans have all collected in this one corner where they are, they've lost control of the cap. Philip Mann taking advantage of, the focus on Louis to get into a position where he is being screened from torps by O2P. He's still going to take a few, but will that be enough to kill him? I don't think so. But what it will do is it will trigger maybe a flood, and it will, get the Atlantico into his preferred game of, you know, engaging in an auto secondaries duel. Now, torpedoes headed into the Atlantico from both sides by Otopi and by Austria in the Fusion. The Atlantico will take a couple of torps from Austria, but nothing from O2P, and now he can punish both of these ships with his secondaries and even his auto secondaries. Philip Man backing away wisely. The Atlantico in this is a knockout brawl between both these teams. Mex putting up a great fight. He's fighting, literally fighting the Fushun, the Jarvis, and Philip Man all on his own. And he goes down to the Fushun's torpedoes. Now, let's see if P Man can fight those two DDs. I think the Farragut is going to be the focus of both of these. O2P turning around. He doesn't have a lot of health, but he needs to get into the cap to take this. Lords have, oh, Sails have a small lead, but how long will that lead last? Ooh, I can't believe this. Oh, those torps ran out of steam, otherwise, O2P might have taken one. The wise decision would be that O2P just gets in the cap but doesn't venture too far. P-Man is going to avoid those torps, and Sails take the cap. They can't be pushed out of cap unless one of them or two of them actually go down. O2P putting up a torp screen on the right to avoid the Farragut trying to escape, while P-Man is going to go after the Farragut and hit him with whatever he can. Austria takes a couple of torps, but he's going to chase Crixus and he's going to ensure that O2P can finish the job on Crixus, who's trying to escape on the right. Oh, that's a solid hit by P-Man with his HE ammo loaded, of course, because he's facing two DDs. Let's see if P-Man gets the kill. Yes, he burns down the Farragut, and that's it. Good job by Sails. It was messy. It wasn't clean, but they got the job done. Alright, time for our next battle, and before that, we'll have our magical pause. Okay, so now we have what is pretty much a derby match. International Armada versus FRV, who've just lost to Serenissima with their two substitutes. So they're going to be pissed, and Tom with a remarkable choice, and Erie, which is a tier 1 boat. As a moderator, I will allow this. Let's see if Tom has the balls to actually pick this ship in a fight. So, as it stands, it's Prince Ruprecht, Erie, uh, Belfast, and Icarus up against a Roma. Stanislaus has switched down from the shores to a Bodioni. Palisade with the Lepanto, and I believe Dauntless will come back with a tier 7 pan. Oh, what? North Cal? Dave has switched over to Belfast. Dauntless in a North Cal, which is a strange option. Honestly, I'd rather have a Kansas in this fight than a North Cal. Tom switching over to a Kansas, and I think we are ready to go. Both teams showing up in a Belfast each. Kretschmer versus Big Dave. Now, Big Dave is known for his battleships. He is even, sometimes you can see him in a DD. I've never ever in my life seen Big Dave in a cruiser. That's a rare commodity. Let's see how this one works out. Okay, so we have sound back on now, and let's go into this fight. Now, FRV don't have any DDs in this match. They're going to be hoping that they can find this little British DD as quickly as possible and take him out of the game. I'm sorry if you can hear the mewing. My cat doesn't like being without attention so long. Ooh, Lynx got spotted and he is taking heavy fire from the Belfast. A bit inaccurate, but he is taking that fire. The Lepanto can wipe him out in a single salvo if he gets his shots on target. But the Lepanto is going straight for the Prince Ruprecht. He takes a flood. I don't know why he's not putting it out. Payback stepping in to tank some damage. But I think he has the wrong position here. And some more torps headed their way. Let's see if the Belfast is trying to smoke them up, but it's a clumsy smoke, and it means if the Belfast hasn't triggered his sonar right about now, it means they're in for a world of pain. Meanwhile, our Armada, if you look at them, apart from Kretschmer, they are all operating on pretty much full health. They're regaining control of the cap, and they'll push out Payback easily. Either Payback or Lepanto will take those torps, and at that point they do have control of the cap now. They don't need to do anything radical. They just need to sit back and let the enemy make mistakes, and right now FRV are making all the mistakes. You have seen this team fall apart within the last 15-20 minutes. So realistically, like 3 matches. Don't forget, this exact team got to second place a couple of months ago, so they're not suddenly like bad players. They've just not played out this particular tier or this week very well. We see the Ruprecht having taken a lot of punishment. He's withdrawing. Let's see if he is allowed to withdraw. Parasite putting his brave pants on. He's taken down the Ruprecht and he is advancing, and advancing pretty well. Let's see if he makes the Kansas paid at this point. Kretschmer in very low health. If he gets spotted, he will get nuked. So wisely, before he gets spotted, he's putting up smoke and trying to hit whatever he can, which at this point is the Bodioni. some radar from Big Dave would solve the issue and take down Kretschmer. The Kansas is in trouble now, and he's losing HP. Payback getting it back into the fight. Another salvo from him, and from the Belfast, they take down Tom. Credit where credit's due. I thought FRV had blown this match, but they've come back strong in this. Even though they had lost a lot of HP, didn't panic, and focused fire very well to take down the two enemy battleships. Kretschmer at such low health that he can't do much. Of course, he's not well known for his cruiser play either. Like Big Dave, he's a big ship player, a battleship main. And now Dave punishing Kretschmer's broadside with his. If he'd switched to AP, this would be pretty much over by now anyway. Dave does do the job in the end, one way or the other. And now Lynx in the Icarus is all on his own. Let's see if he makes a desperate charge and tries to sneak a kill, or if he loses his life trying that out. Bad torpedoes from him. It would have been better for him to target the Budioni, and Stanislaus punishes him, takes him out. Good game to FRV, coming back strong after a loss to San Marco, and before that to Sales. We'll be back after another match. Okay, so we're back with another FRV match. I seem to be following them today. I think I'll have to work on the matchmaking, because the stream schedule, because I don't want to watch Big Dave all that much. Dave sticking with his Belfast, Payback back into his Västerås. I think Dave will switch back to a Roma soon. They're up against a very strong P squad, led by Romatha in the Atlantico, and there's Wolf in the Helena. There's Peter Lustig, who's one of the admins and the captain of P squad. He's in the Prince Ruprecht. Squenin brings up the rear with the Fusion. So Dave back in his favored Roma. Palisade sticking with the Lepanto. And Stan with his preferred shores. Strangely enough, we haven't seen Stan play anything but Russian cruisers, and he is an outlier in this tournament, at least, where he is consistently picking Russian cruisers over other options that we've seen from everyone else. So the Fusion will make his way into the cap up against a Västerås. Now, Payback has a secret weapon. He is using a legendary maxed out commander, so that gives him access to 2 radars instead of the one that everyone expects. I was speaking to Captain Austria, and he was surprised by that as well, which is why Palisade was able to take him down in that match FRV against Sales. Payback has been spotted early on, and we see that another shores by wolf this time, and he's punished the Westeros, and the Westeros has to run away, licking his wounds, and recover some health. Still, FRV have taken the cap. They're putting up a points lead. Not that it matters much. The first order of the day for FRV at this point would be to take down the Atlantico. Easier said than done, especially when it's backed up by a Prince Rupert. Those two ships can have the potential to punish the Lepanto really hard, especially when backed up by those torpedoes. Good job from uh, P Squad. Big Dave trying to chase away the shores and succeeding. Oh, that was a nice salvo. Takes out a chunk. And the Vastress goes down to the auto secondaries while the Fushun goes down to the shores. We've missed all this action, I'm sorry. Now, the Ruprecht is in the middle of the cap. He can't really disengage. His only move would be to either go forward or to, if he reverses, he gets punished. And Lustig, I think, is making the wrong move here by reversing. But maybe he's pulling a tactical move, taking that fire and allowing the Atlantico to advance on the Roma, which means that they can hold on to the cap and target Big Dave and bring him down. All those secondaries, those auto secondaries, everything is focused on Big Dave. He is going down. And once he goes down, there's nothing the Lepanto can really do except maybe take out the Prince Ruprecht. Misses his shot with the auto second with the secondaries. He's smoked up, but we can't do much. The Atlantico will take him out as soon as he sees him. Let's see if FRV are brave enough to switch fire from the Atlantico back to the Ruprecht, take him out, and switch over to. When I say FRV, there's only one ship left. It's too little too late, I believe. Stan has done a good job, but he goes down. And this match goes to P Squad. Well played, no matter. Excellent job there. And we take another pause. Alright, so this is, I believe, our second last match of the night. We have Sails versus Angry Turtles.
Action stations.
Caspax and Shores abandoning his Pan Asian cruiser that we saw last time. This time, look at Angry Turtles. They are flanking with their two battleships, and Caspax is going wide. They're not interested in capping in this match, and rightly so. They can't really cap with two DDs out there. They're on the hunt. Corbin will put ship in peril because he knows that he has the armor to succeed. I believe this is Gleb in the Freddy, which will also go forward in to back up the Fusion, put his secondary skills to use, perhaps. We see a straight fight between the Jarvis and Fusion, and that's not a fight the Fusion really wants to take. Sales have control of the cap. They're not going to relinquish control. And I think Windy don't really want control of the cap. They want to kill the two DDs before taking the cap. Those torps look threatening. Corbin might take four of these if he's not careful. Yes. But Austria is in all sorts of trouble. One more secondary salvo, anything, and he's down for the count. Now Windy have control of the cap. Some torps headed towards the Freddy. Let's see if he takes some, but I think he's safe. He's angled enough, but that puts his guns out of commission. Shots headed towards Philip Man, and he's lost 50% of his HP, but so has the Freddy. Let's see who goes down first. Philip Man disengaging from the fight, trying to preserve his HP, and he's going to come back. He has the best range in this game, in this particular match, so he's making use of his range. I bet he wishes he were in a Missouri right now. Louis in the Roma, trying to put up a fight, trying to get into cap and take down the Freddy. Might be able to in the next salvo if P-Man can help him out, but the Freddy has a lot of armor and is using his health kit. The Roma takes him out still. Nice job, Louis. It's again a 3v3, but it'll soon be a 3v2 because the Roma is on a perma double fire and will go down before he can actually get in the cap and take it. Otopy launching some torps towards Corbin Dallas. Let's see if those torps from the Fusion look juicy, and Philip Man will take quite a few of them. I believe 3 or 4. That will hurt. The secondary is going to work on P-Man and he's going to go down. There's nothing he can do about it. Goodbye, P-Man. Alright. So now it's Otopy who's pinned down, a Fusion coming up behind him. Caspak's ready with his guns and an Atlantico in front of him. Charge of the Light Brigade. He'll probably take down the Atlantico. Oh no, he doesn't. That's a really unfair ship, even after the nerf. Good game, Corbin. So our last game for the night. Let me pause this while I set up the match room. And a fantastic way to close off our evening is our final match between the two windy teams. This is pretty much a derby game and a real needle fight. Both these teams, they're from the same fleet. They play on the same team, but this is for bragging rights. So let's get ready to see a final match. And from what I know of these two teams, it's going to be a really good one. Okay, so we have Yuki, Distortion, Blaze, and Fan up against Corbin, Gleb, Caspax, and I don't know. I'm not even going to try to pretend that I know how to pronounce these Russian names. All right, let's get started. So we're underway, and this promises to be a really interesting match, which you've seen before over some good matches as well. And this should be the perfect close to the evening. Ooh, we see a Shumfon for the first time tonight. Played by a player who I'm an absolute fan of, and his name is Fan. Cap is being contested by the two Fushans. Distortion up against, I think his name is Gleb, and I'm mistaking the Freddy player, but whatever. We're the two Fushans. Some torps, deep water torps by Fan, and that Freddy is already on a fire. He's not putting it out very wisely. Now's the second fire. He's still not putting it out. He's waiting for those torpedoes to come his way. But by that time, will he have lost too much health? It's a triple fire that he puts out, and now he starts withdrawing. Some area denial torps by the Angry Turtles, but they won't do much. Meanwhile, the Freddy has lost about 40% of 60% of his health, and he's on a fire again. That's what I hated about the Freddy while playing it. It would catch fire like nothing I've ever played. Of course, because given its reputation, everybody would HE spam it. Now, Blaze in the Atlantico. It's funny to see that Windy, the team called Windy, is not even bothering to be in the cap. All four ships are outside, flanking. This is what we don't like to see in a randoms match, but this is apparently the way it's played in tournament games. Don't cap till you get a couple of kills at least. After that, seize hold of the cap and don't let it slip. The Freddy is on fire again. Let's see if Fan can start a double fire on him. It would be wise to let this fire burn, not spam him too much. and start another fire later on. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Atlantico, Corbin Dallas, finally putting his ship to use. He's focusing down the Iowa pretty hard. The Freddy goes down as predicted by Fan. Now he's going to go after Yuki with his second set of torpedoes that are ready to go. Oh, sorry, they're on the same team. I've had too many drinks. Now the Chiffon is going to start working over the Atlantico. He's waiting for the Fusion to come out of his smoke before he starts working the Fusion. And that Atlantico is having a torrid time. He's going to take 4 torpedoes as well. Just 3, but still, those are 3 more than he wanted at any point. He goes down, and Windy take control of the cap for the first time. But now that they have a 4-2 lead, they've taken down both of the battleships. They won't relinquish control. Now it's just a matter of chasing down these lower tier ships and taking them out. Beautiful work from Fan, taking down the DD, and now it's the turn for Caspax. Very well done. This team shows why they are the favorites to win this title, and did an immense job. We saw some great matches today, and thank you for watching this entire stream.